topic that we will be looking at today is a very interesting topic that, and it's based on a work by an amazing scholar called Sri Bannanjay Govindacharya. Sri Bannanjay Govindacharya is considered by many as the most authentic or the authority in Vedic text in India at this time. There are many, and one of them is definitely Sri Bannanjay Govindacharya. One attribute of Bannanjay Govindacharya is that he is also a mentor for most of the gurus that come from the Madhva Matha. Madhva Matha is in Karnataka. There is a place called Udupi where all the acharyas from Madhva Sampradaya, they come. And for all of them, Bannanjay Govindacharya has been a kind of a mentor. And so that gives him a kind of a very special place in the heart of all Adhyatma, those interested in that field of Adhyatma Jnana. So, so when I read Bannanjay, I have complete confidence about the authenticity of the text he presents, the authenticity of the knowledge he shares. So that's why I share this with you all with complete confidence. With first of all, my namaskaras to Sri Bannanjay Govindacharya, and then to Lord Sri Krishna, Udupi Sri Krishna. And before I start, let's do as usual. We will start with Pranava and then Shanti Patha. Take a deep breath and then we will start with a Pranava. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. So we have a very interesting topic here. Again, maybe as we go, we will discover that. One is, Bannanjay Govindacharya starts with the differentiation between Sankhya and Sankhya. And most of us know this, but at the same time, it's good to start with that. Bharatavarsha, or our Bharata Desha, has had advanced mathematical formulations for time immemorial. All of us know that. All that you need to do is just open Panchanga. Panchanga, the astrological calculations, is mind-blowing. There was a time where I tried to understand it, and it was absolutely beyond my capacity at that time about how advanced they were in terms of calculating the distance between Earth and Moon, the distance between the different planetary systems. And that's where you start believing that it cannot have come from human effort. It has to have come from Shruti, which is there is a divine intervention or a divine revelation that happens within. So it has extended itself to mathematical, the field of mathematics, the field of philosophy. There is a very huge area in philosophy that we all know is Sankhya Yoga. Today, the topic is not Sankhya Yoga. We are not looking at Sankhya Yoga, but we are looking at Sankhya Adhyatma. We will look at what it is later. So first of all, Sankhya, Bannanjay Govindacharya provides a very beautiful definition to Sankhya. Samyak Khyati Sankhya. Anything that is well understood, clearly understood, anything that is understood with objectivity is Sankhya. So subjective experiences can differ, but objectivity cannot be debated sometimes, but there will still be a debate. That's a different one. But because in numbers 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, but you can still convince me that 2 plus 2 is equal to 5 if you are good at communication skills. So Sankhya is Samyak Khyati iti Sankhya. a clear understanding of, and that is objectivity. Now, Sankhya is the Tattva Shastra that is done through numbers. Sankhya is the process of understanding Tattva or truth using numbers. And the proponent of Sankhya Yoga or Sankhya Shastra is Kapila Vasudeva. But as I said, the topic for today is not Sankhya Yoga or Sankhya Shastra, but the significance of numbers in the Vedic system or the Hindu system, double-quoted Hindu system. What is the significance of that? And if you observed how we started, itself is an indication, which is Purnamadah, Purnamidam, Purnaat, Purnamudachyate. That itself is Sankhya. That there itself comes the numbers. We will look into all those very soon. First, what is the significance of numbers? We know that all numbers have a significance, but there are some numbers that have a special place in Bharatiya Tattva Shastra. Example, 7, 9, 18. Somehow, even if you chant Rudra, you will see a lot of 7 being repeated. In 18, now 9 is a very, very critical number. We all know that. So 8 plus 1 is 9. So 18 Parvas of Mahabharata, 18 Adhyayas of Mahabharata. Sorry, it's a mistake I did there. It's 18 Adhyayas in Bhagavad Gita. That's what I wanted to say. It's a minor one. So there are a lot of other significant numbers, 12, 21, 24, 25, 26, 51, 55. And we can go on and on and on about each of these numbers. But for today, what I will focus is on numbers from 1 to 9. That itself will cover everything. That itself will cover the whole gamut of our understanding of Tattva in Indian system. So what I will do is similar to what I did in my previous session on Vedic introduction to Vedic Shastra, Vedic text, where I just threw in front of us a lot of stuff that we may know, we may have all seen this before, but the intention here is to set a platform for future discussions. So today you may see a lot of numbers, very interesting numbers. Some numbers you may already know, but we will start connecting them to the Adhyatmika understanding. Adhyatma, we will start connecting to that as we go further in the future sessions. For today, we will start with the first 9 numbers and how are they related to Tattva Shastra in Sanatana Dharma. That's what we will look at. At any stage, if you feel that I'm going very fast or if I'm going very slow, please let me know. But make sure that you are on mute so that there is little disturbance. This is such a beautiful, amazing concept that I thought we should start with this. The idea of Vishwarupa and the idea of Ajayamana, both of them go together. That is the beauty of Bharatiya Tattva Shastra, which is, we will look into that. Hymns of creation, you all you would have heard of Purusha Sukta. Om Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishwata Vrutva Atyatishthad Dashangulam. So, such a beautiful shloka from Purusha Sukta. It starts with Sahasra Shirsha Purusha. Sahasra means 1000, but
ये श्लोक ही बोलते हैं, साउथ इंडियन है, इन लोगों को इतना डेप्थ होती नहीं.
Oh, sorry, ji. Yeah, I assumed that. But this is from Purusha Sukta. Purusha Sukta is a hymn on Purusha. So it starts with Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, which is there is some Purusha with 1000 heads. But if we think 1000 heads, then it's limiting. Sahasra means thousands of heads. Sahasraksha, thousands of eyes. And such a beautiful one. The other one is Dashangulam. He stands over the recreated world 10 inches above. 10 inches is not exactly 10 inches. You keep a scale and watch. So what we need to take from here is when numbers are used, they become symbol. They become symbolic value. For example, Sahasra Shirsha Purusha. The one, even though it's 1000, actually 1000 here means infinite or limitless or however we want to look at it. Same is one more Narayana Sukta, which is Sahasra Shirisham Devam Vishwaksham Vishwashambhuvam. So what happens, these shlokas, these mantras are from Rig Veda and Yajurveda also. And the other aspect that we need to keep in mind when we look at Tattva Shastra through Sankhya is the idea of infinity. Sometimes infinity is not used as a word in our Shastra, but you can see infinity in the way time is seen. There is already Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamadachyate. That itself is talking about Purnatva, which is infinite or zero, however one wants to look at it. This is a shloka from Bhagavad Gita. Natve vaham jatu nasham natvam neme janadhipaha na chaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatah param. This says that there was never a time you did not exist. There was never a time I did not exist. There will never be a time that you will not exist and I will not exist. And the same applies to everyone else. This simply says that the timeline is infinite. That idea itself to have come tens and thousands of years back is mind-boggling. So this is where I wanted to start with. So the first idea here is the idea of zero and infinity. The Lord is all inclusive, which is Ajayamano Bahuda Vijayate. The Lord who is unborn is born in infinite ways. So the other thing is also the quantity which is Anor Aniyam, smaller than the atom, Mahato Mahiyam, larger than Himalaya, Parvata. So take anything, if you see this is the smallest, which is 0 or less than 0. The Lord is smaller than that. That quantification also comes from number. Mahato, if you define something is so big, the Lord, Atyatishtat Dashangulam, that the Lord is 10 inches above that. So you can, that idea of smaller than the smallest, larger than the largest, same object being both is beyond conception for a lot of even advanced thinkers. So I just wanted to start with this, where the Adhyatma Shastra in Indian Shastra ranges from 0 all the way to infinity, and every number in between is glorifying the Lord in some way. I will look into that and we will see that. One thing I missed indicating here was each number has a designated Devata. And that's Bananjay Govindacharya's comment. So I just take it literally as Bananjay Govindacharya says. And I will indicate that through my slides. How is it going? Is it slow, fast? Okay, fantastic, thank you. The first number, which is very important, is Shunya. Shunya is 0. At start, there was nothing. At start, all that there was darkness. That is Nirguna Brahma. So the idea of 0 is where there is nothing. And I quoted this Nasadiya Sukta in my last talk, where Nasa Dasin no Sadasi Tadanim Nasi Drajo no Vyoma Paroyat, and we can go on like that. So at start there was nothing. Na Sad Asit, na Asad Asit. That means there was neither truth, there was nor falsehood. Again, a very philosophically loaded statement, and let's not get into the philosophy of it, but look at the Nasadiya, which is there was nothing, which is 0. That is the important point I wanted to drive here. So from 0 came everything is the idea, which is some children may think of it as Big Bang or however, all are exactly how you want to understand. It's up to you. So the question is, did everything come from nothing? Double quoted nothing. I am not saying nothing, it's double quoted nothing, because Anor Aniyam, Mahato Mahiyam. So there is something that we are not able to see. From that everything has come. So Nasadiya Sukta has this statement, which the last statement of Nasadiya Sukta is, Yo Asya Dhyakshaha Parame Vyomanstho Anga Veda Yadivana Veda. Did the Adhyaksha, mean one who foresees everything, which is the Lord, did he know or did he not know? So the Sukta itself is questioning whether it can be, how the creation happened, whether it could be understood or not. So the reason I quoted this line is, Even though we want to say everything came from nothing, there was still Adhyaksha, who was the Sakshi Swarupa. The Sakshi is the Purusha, and we will come to that very soon. The next slide, we'll go to number 1. So as we are looking at these numbers, it is very easy to get overwhelmed. But what I request you to do is keep the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita in your mind. The Vibhuti Yoga of the Lord, where he is saying, I am this, I am that, I am this, I am that, I am this, I am that. So the whole idea is from 1 or from 0 comes everything. So that's where I am driving this. So everything is connected. So the Vedas that we spoke about 2 weeks back, and what Sundarji covered last week, which is about how all this knowledge was imparted to children at a very young age, about the idea of numbers in Tattva Shastra were all connected. They were all dots that the children could connect by the age of 16, which when they were graduating, they could connect all these dots. Everything made sense. 10th chapter, if we read now, it doesn't make sense because it takes time for us to comprehend the very idea. So Adhyaksha was there. Adhyaksha means the president is what we use to, that's the equivalent we use, but Adhyaksha means Adi Aksha, means the topmost eye, the eye that is above all, one who foresees everything is Adhyaksha. So even when there was nothing, Adhyaksha was there, which is the Lord was there. And from him, everything came. So the contribution of Shunya in the modern scientific discoveries, we don't have to even talk about it. But what is unfortunate is a lot of other cultures have taken credit for Shunya. For example, in English, they say Indo-Arabic numbers, even though it's actually Indo. Shunya came from the Indian system. So Shunya is Purna because it will remain itself. Even if you remove 0 from 0, it will be the same. If you add 0 to 0, it will remain the same. If you multiply 0 from anything, it will still be 0. So that's why Shunya is Purnatva. Next, from nothing, we saw, and I forgot, on top here, I always mention who is the Devata associated with that number. So with 0, associated Devata is Krishna. So with 1, the associated Deva is Brahma or Hiranyagarbha, from who everything else came. So first is a very simple statement from the Veda, which is Ekam Eva Advitiyam Brahma. Ekam Eva Advitiyam Brahma, which is there is only one, no second to Brahma. So there is one now. So we started with Shunya, where we said Nasat, there was no Asat, there was no Sat. From there we came, there is Brahma. Suddenly there is Sat. From there we came, then from Brahma came Pranava, Om. Om iti ekaksharam Brahma. Om itself is Brahma. That is ekakshara. We all know that Om is avuma, but Om is one syllable. It cannot be split, and that is Brahma. That is ekam. Paramatmane satatam eka rupine. The Lord is always one. And there is one rupa for the Lord. And I love this statement from Swami Chinmayananda. The infinite is one because it can only be one. There cannot be multiple infinites. So such a beautiful statement from Swami Chinmayananda. And we all know this statement. Ekam sat vipraha bhuda vadanti. So there is only one truth, but we understand that truth in a number of different names. We give it number of different names. So there was 0. From 0 came 1. From 1, we will look how beautiful it expands. This is a quote from Shvetashvatara Upanishad, which Eko Deva Sarva Bhuteshu Guda Sarva Vyapi Sarva Bhutantaratma Karma Dhyaksha Sarva Bhutadhivasa Sakshi Cheta Kevalo Nirgunascha. There is only one Lord who is hiding. Gudha means secretly hiding. You look into your heart, he is secretly hiding in your heart, and he is spreading everywhere. But he is the only one. But he is in you, in us, in everywhere, and he is the Karma Dhyaksha. He takes care of everything. So 1 is a significant number. From 1 comes we have to always keep this in mind. We are all one. We are all non-different. I and Pratyaksha are the same. Pratyaksha and me are the same. My daughter is the same as me. So we are all the same. We are all one. We are non-different. So one is a significant number in the Vedic system. From one, what comes? Two comes. So then it is called Dvandva. It expands the energies start manifesting in different ways. So from one starts two, that is called expansion, and the devata for two is Vayu. So one became two, but are they two? No, they are actually one. Prakriti Purusha. All of us have, we have heard of this, maybe whoever read Bhagavad Gita would have heard of these terms. One which is, there was only Purusha, or there was only one thing, Brahma. Then there was the idea of Purusha and Prakriti. Prakriti is the egg and Purusha is the seed. And from there, everything else starts coming. And then you may have seen this in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Whoever have read this, if you know this, you can chant with me. Dvau imau purushau loke ksharascha eva cha ksharah sarvani bhutani kutastho uchyate. There is a beautiful one. Dvau imau purushau loke. There are two Purushas, and suddenly a new concept comes there. So there was nothing but zero, then came one, from one came two. This is one of my favorite statements from Ishopanishad. Vidyancha yastad vedo bhayam ubhayam saha avidyaya mrutyum tirtva vidyaya amrutam ashnute. The reason I put this is, suddenly, till now we were only talking about Brahma. Then we started talking about Purusha and Prakriti. Now we are talking about Mrityu and Amruta. There is Mrityu, there is Amruta. There is Vidya, there is Avidya. So suddenly from nothing came duality. Then we all know this Nitya, Anitya, which is short term, long term, or temporary, permanent. Sat, Asat. Tamaha, Jyotihi. Mrityuhu, Amrutaha. Where am I using this Tamaha, Jyoti, Mrityu, Amruta? You can think, all the children can think. Asatoma, Sadgamaya, Tamasoma, Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma, Amrutam Gamaya. If you start seeing, there is duality suddenly. Till now, we were not even thinking of duality. We said only one Brahma. Suddenly there is Asatoma, Satgamaya, Tamasoma, Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma, Amrutam Gamaya. But then there is only one Om. That's it. So there is Devaha, Dhanavaha, Brahmanda, Pindanda, Chetana, Achetana, Chara, Achara, Karya, Karana, Sukha, Dukkha, Vidya, Avidya, Pullinga, Strilinga, Dvipada, which is Chatuspada, and all those things. So suddenly the universe has started expanding. So sustain the universe, the next step is 3, the number 3. The Devata for this is Garuda. Purusha and Prakriti manifested itself as 3 presiding deities: Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. Brahma, consort is Saraswati. Vishnu, consort is Lakshmi. Maheshwara, consort is Parvati. From them, 3 aspects of Om. Actually, Om was already there. The 3 aspects of Om, from that manifested Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, which is Akara, Ukara, Makara, to do 3 things, which is Kriyas: Shrishti, Sthiti, Laya, which is creation, sustenance, destruction. And from there God created 3 different words, they say, Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, or Swaha. And then we will look at, when we come to number 7, we will look at how the Bhu, Bhuva, Suvaha also expands. So at this time, it got created. And then came Jada, Jiva, Ishvara, the idea of 3. Whereas there is non-living, living, and Ishvara. And they had 3 states, avasthas they are called. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Awakened state, sleep state, and Sushupti, the dream state, the Sushupti state. These are manipulated. Our everything that we do are manipulated by three gunas. Very important for us to know. Sattva guna, Raja guna, Tamo guna. Start again, if you start seeing how beautiful the evolution is being explained in our Shastras. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get to, which is we always have to keep Virata Purusha in mind, where infinite, but he came like this. And there are three Shaktis. The world is powered by Jnana Shakti, Ichcha Shakti, Kriya Shakti. We will look at all these concepts, especially for children. We will make sure we will look at all these concepts because these are core, very easy for us to understand. I am seeing a lot of children faces today. I'm so happy. That's why I have forgotten all the adults. I am now talking for the children. Jnana Shakti is we are driven by knowledge. Ichcha Shakti is you may have Jnana, but if you don't have intention, you don't take action. You may have a Jnana, you may have Ichcha. Like, for example, is jogging at 4 o'clock in the morning good? Yes, you know, you have the Jnana. Do you want to jog in the morning tomorrow at 4 o'clock? Yes. So Ichcha is there. But tomorrow 4 o'clock, alarm rings, switch off and sleep. Right? Most people do that. So Jnana Shakti should be there. From there, Ichcha Shakti should be there, and then Kriya Shakti should be there. Whatever you want to do, you have to have these things. So the whole world is powered by these three things, and it expands into Bhutakala, Vartamana Kala, Bhavishyat Kala, which is past, present, future. So you had Jnana of the Bhuta, Jnana of the Vartamana. I wish we had Jnana of the future also. Fortunately, Lord, what God did is he removed that Jnana from us. You cannot know the future. You have to live in the present and past. So, but the world operates in three different kalas. And this should have been the first point, but somehow it came down. We all have three aspects: Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat means we cannot help but look for being permanent. How many of us want to die? Nobody wants to die, because we have the Sat in us, which wants us to live forever. Chit, whether you want or not, you cannot help but learn. You simply sit. You tell, oh, I don't want to learn. You simply sit. You learn what happens when you're simply sitting. You learn that you have gained around 20 pounds in 1 week. So, Sat, Chit, natural, Ananda. We always look for happiness, pleasure. We can never seek pain and discomfort. Simply because even those who think they were the saddest people, they also are saddest because they think by doing it they get pleasure. So there are three folds of misery, and then three primary Vedas came, which is Rig, Yajus, Sama, to manage everything else. And we also looked at Om. I just wanted to emphasize this for all the children also. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi, we say, which is Om Bhu Shantihi, Om Bhuva Shantihi, Om Swah Shantihi. So we have to find peace all across, not just in one level. So here I just wanted to quickly introduce you to the interplay between the subtle and the gross. What is subtle? All that we looked at till now are subtle. You cannot see them. Can you see Atma? No. Can you see the, for example, here, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara? You cannot exactly see them, but you can see their effect of being there. The same with all the other things, we cannot touch and feel them. From now, when we go from 3 towards 4, we start gradually moving from subtle to more gross. Again, you would have seen all this. So 4 is the support structure for everything. So, and the deity for this, or the devata for this, is Shesha. Shesha is one on which Vishnu is sleeping. From there, Chaturmukha Brahma, who is the lord of the material universe, who is the lord of the material energies, came Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. Then we have Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Then you have a different Shrishti Varnas we call, which is Shukla, Rakta, Pita, Krishna, which is white, red, yellow, black, different colors of people. And then the Atharva Veda came because you had to remove some of the negative things that you do. So Atharva suddenly appeared. Then there were many Upavedas to make sure that your life is good. Then you have many different stages in your life: Brahmacharya, Grahastya, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa, etc., etc. So this is why I said it can be very overwhelming, because I am throwing a lot at everyone. I apologize for it, but at the same time, it's an opportunity for us to revisit. Absolutely. 4 Purusharthas are coming, 4 Ashramas are coming. Very good. Very good, Pratyaksha. So Purusharthas are Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. 4 Ashramas are those. Wonderful. Then this is something we all learn with time. There are 4 ways to deal with anything: Sama, Dana, Bedha, Danda. There is a word called Samadhana. Samadhana means you have to start any problem solving with Sama and Dana. Try to please someone else. A child is crying. Child is crying. What does the mother do or father do? Don't cry, Putta. Don't worry. It's okay. They try to do that. And then you are still crying. They will give you a chocolate. Take a chocolate. Stop crying. You are still crying. And then they, okay. What is that called? I still don't know the word that they use here. Time out. Right? Time out. Go sit there. Still not listening? Danda, which is punishment. Shiksha. So this is used even in businesses. So this was introduced long back, which is 4 upayas to manage situations, which is Sama, Dana, Bedha, Danda. I will share the slides with everyone. So even if you don't write, it's perfectly fine. I'll share the slides because it's a lot, I know. But 5th came Panchamukhi Shiva or Rudra. Rudra is the Devata for Pancha. Then came Sthula Prapancha. Sthula Prapancha means which is called gross material universe. Gross material universe, Panchabhuta. Bhumi, Apa, Anala, Vayu, Kham. Bhumi is earth, Apa is water, Anala is Vayu, Anala is fire, Vayu is air, Kham is ether or sky. Tanmatras, 5 tanmatras, which is Gandha, we smell; Rasa, we taste; we look at Rupa, we touch people, Sparsha; and Shabda, which is hearing. So like that, Jnanandriyas came to do this, which is Grahana, Jihva, Ghrana, Jihva, Chakshu, Tvak, Shrotra. So the Panchendriyas came into picture. And then Karmendriyas. So what do you do with the Panchendriyas if you cannot use them? So Karmendriyas came, which is Vak, Pani, which is hand, Pada, Payu, Upasta, and then Antahkarana. So one is external, then the other is inside, which is Manas, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta, Chetana. We will come to each. These concepts are very important concepts. We will look at them in detail in a different session. And then all of us whoever have done anything to do with yoga are introduced to the Pancha Pranas. Prana, Apana, Vyana, Udana, Samana. Those you need to sustain your body. And then the idea of, you know what you see, the body that we see is not simple one body, but there are many bodies inside. One is the physical body, Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, the respiratory system, Manomaya Kosha, the intellectual system or the nervous system, Vijnanamaya Kosha, the Buddhi system, and Anandamaya Kosha. At the end of everything, what we want is happiness. So all these things are working to make things happy. And then Rutus came. I will not go too much into detail. I want all the children to maybe when I share this, I want all of you to memorize this shloka. Okay, maybe we'll have a test one day, which is Ahalya Draupadi Sita Tara Mando Dari Tatha Pancha Kanya Smaren Nityam Mahapataka Nashanam is how I have read. Pataka Anishihi or something like that is there. How I know is Smaren Nityam Mahapataka Nashanam. That's what I have read, which is there are 5 great inspirations. The female figures, Ahalya, comes from Ramayana, Draupadi, Mahabharata, Sita from Ramayana, Kunti from Mahabharata, Tara comes from Ramayana, Mandodari also comes from Ramayana. These are ideal Kanyas who always stood for right, always stood for dharma. So Ahalya, Draupadi, Sita, Tara, Mandodari तथा पंचकन्या स्मरे नित्यम महापातक नाशनम pataka nashanam anta. That's what I have read before. I could be, I may have to correct myself. That's okay. So then this is I just added, which is Panchakshara mantra. Om Namah Shivaya is the, if you want to escape from this material world, Om Namah Shivaya, they say, is the most powerful mantra. Okay, I know from here it gets Tara is if I am not wrong, Sugriva's wife. I will find it. I will confirm it. Tara is Sugriva's wife, as far as I know. I think I will ask Sundarji to comment on that. He is stronger in that area.
So it's Vali's wife who later became Sugriva's wife.
Correct. Or maybe she was Vali's wife, Sugriva's wife, who became Vali's wife and then became Sugriva's wife. So she is known for her knowledge. She is known for her maturity and the way she handled difficult situations. So that's why Tara is given a special mention. And then from 5 came 6, we call, which is Vikritis, are variations. Vikritis are, we could think that they are negative. It need not be negative, but they are variations, which is the Devata for 6 is Indra. Shanmukha comes from Panchamukhi. Shanmukha is Skanda or Subramanya, we call. He comes from Shiva, Panchamukhi. Then came the 6th sense. There were 5 senses: Bhumi, Apa, Analo, Vayu, Kam. Then the 6th sense of Mano became very important at some stage. Then there are 6 gunas of Bhagavad Upasana, it's called. Jnana, to understand Lord, we have to have Jnana, Shakti, Bala, Aishwarya, Virya, Tejas. Then there are 6 states in which we exist: Shoka, Moha, Ashana, Trisha, Jara, Roga. Then there are 6 Arishadvargas, which take you away from the Lord or take you away from your self, which is Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Kama means excessive desire. Krodha means excessive anger. Lobha means excessive greed. Moha means excessive delusion. Mada means excessive pride. Matsarya means excessive jealousy. The reason I am using excessive is Kama is important. We need to have desire. Without desire, there is nothing we can do. Krodha is important. Somebody is beating you and you, okay, beat me. You can't do that. You should have that one needed. You have to be able to use that Krodha for yourself. Lobha, little bit of greed is helpful. Greed, which is when someone is learning 2 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, I will say, you know what, I will learn 3 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. That Lobha should be there. Moha, once in a while you should forget yourself and enjoy. Dance to the tunes and enjoy. Forget who is watching you. If you are on Facebook, you will see me. I don't care. I just have fun, right? Mada, once in a while, again, you should be proud of what you have done. Matsarya, whether you want or not. If you have a sibling, you will have a little bit of jealousy, little bit of, which also becomes love later. Initially, it appears like that, but actually it is love that is creating the thing. So that's why I used excessive. And then I will skip this one. Vedangas also we looked at last time, so I will skip that with Shiksha Kalpa. And Sundarji also covered Vyakarana, Nirukta, Jyotisha. We touched those things. So this is where it gets very complicated. Because from 0 becoming 1, we easily understood. 1 becoming 2, okay, we understood. 2 becoming 3, oh, it's getting very long. 4, it started getting even longer. 5 got longer. 6 got longer. 7, which is all the things that we see in the world. The Prakriti is celebrating herself. And the Deva for this is Kama Deva, who runs the whole Prakriti. The material universe is run by Kamadeva. So Prakriti adds one more, the 7 adds one more called Buddhi. We already saw Bhumi, Apo, Analo, Vayu, Kam, Mano, Buddhi. Whoever has read Bhagavad Gita will know this shloka, where I am going to next. Bhumir Apo, Nalo, Vayu, Kam, Mano, Buddhi, Evacha. What will come in the 8th? Anybody knows? Can type here. Bhumir Apo, Analo, Vayu, Kam, Mano, Buddhirevacha. 8th, I will reveal one more. Okay, so 7 prakritis are revealed in at this stage, and then there are Sapta Chandas. It's called Gayatri Chandas, Ushnik, Anushtup, Brihati, Pankti, Trishtup, Jagati. I think we should have a separate session on just the Chandas. How do we understand Chandas? Why are Chandas are important? Chandas means meter. Anything that is in Vedic system is based on a meter. Gayatri Chandas, 8 into 3. 8 syllables into 3 lines is Gayatri Chandas. Anushtup, he has a similar formula. I have forgotten specifics of it. So each of them have 8 syllables into 3 lines, 8 syllables into 4 lines, like that. Why do we have it? We will have a separate session on that. Very, very important for memorization and also for retention, because in the past people did not write down, they memorized it. And Chandas actually help them keep track. It's called checksum. To keep track of these shlokas without missing even one syllable. We'll look into the Sapta Chandas in a separate session. Okay, and most of whoever has looked at yoga will know the 7 chakras: Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, etc., etc. Then there are 7 jwalas or fires: Kali, Karali, Manojava, Sulu. Again, I'm not going to the detail of anything today, because this is what I was saying. From here, the world explodes, just explodes. We can find number 7, maybe 100, 200 of them, which are significantly important. And then we have Saptamatrikas, and then we have Manvantara Saptarishis, Kashyapa, Atri, Vashishta, Vishwamitra. We may have at least seen this. Gautama, Jamadagni, Bharadwaja, etc., etc. Then we have Saptarishis, who are Marichi, Atri, Angiras, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu, and Vasishtha. And then 7 lokas. This is what I was saying. When we said Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, there is upper loka, there is lower loka. This 3 is split into 14 now, which is whoever does something called Sandhya Vandana, they always do Om Bhuhu, Om Bhuvaha, Om Suvaha, Om Mahaha, Om Janaha, Om Tapaha, Ogum Satyam, Om Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Diyo Yonaha Prachodayat. We do that. So there are 7 lokas: Bhuloka, Bhuvaloka, Swaloka, Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyam Loka. And then there are 7 worlds below, 7 lokas below us, which is Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. Each of them is a separate discussion in itself. Okay? As I told, I'm just throwing things today just to appreciate the beauty of numbers in the Vedic system. So many things for us to learn, right? How much do we know? Only a small fraction. This much we know, and we think we know so much, right? And I learn 1 chapter from Bhagavad Gita and start walking like this. I know 1 chapter in Bhagavad Gita, right? So when we read all these things, it will bring us back. I know nothing, right? So much to know in the world, in the creation, in all aspects. So I'm just throwing a few more here. 7 Chiranjeevis, 7 Saptadhatus, 7 Saptaswaras. Whoever knows Sangeeta will know Sa Re Ga Ma Pa Da Ni Sa Sa Ni Da Pa Ma Ga Re Sa. 7 Saptaswaras. And then Swaras: Bhanuvara, Somvara, Mangalavara, etc., etc. 7 Sagaras. This is so beautiful. This I also did not know. There are 7 oceans. The Lavana Ocean, which is the only ocean we know, which is the ocean of salt water. It's the ocean of salt. Ikshu, there is an ocean somewhere we don't know, which is sweet. It's an ocean of sugarcane. And there is the Sura. I know many people want to go to that ocean, which is the ocean of wine. Okay, Ghrita, which is the ocean of ghee. There is the ocean of Dadhi, which is curd. There is the ocean of Kshira, which is milk. And some of us may know this, Kshira Sagara Shayana. Vishnu is called Kshira Sagara Shayana. And this galaxy is called Kshira Galaxy. Sorry, who said that?
Me.
Yeah, this galaxy is called what? Milky Way. Right? So Kshira Sagara and Shuddhodaka, then there is the ocean of fresh water. Then there are Mahaparvatas, and again, some of these Parvatas may have become kind of insignificant at times, but still these are amazing Mahaparvatas. And then there are 7 Dvipas, Jambu Dvipa, Plaksha, and then Shalmali, and these are all new to me also. I don't know a lot about these things. This was a new learning for me that I would like to expand on. And then there are 7 Mahanadis: Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Godavari, Narmada, Sindhu, Kaveri. You can keep adding more to this. It is limitless. This is where I said from 7 expands into 8, which is Bhumi Rapo Nalo Vayuhu Kham Mano Buddhirevacha Ahankara iti yamme binna prakriti rashtada is what Krishna says. Okay, so ahankara is the 8th element that enters humans, especially humans. And then there are different Bhagavat Rupas, it is called. And then there are Jiva Vargas. You will have heard of this. Devatas, Gandharvas, Dhanavas, Rakshasas, Pishachas, Manushas, Tiriyak Jantus, Sthavaras. We will look into. This is one topic that we will have a talk about, especially for children. Okay. Then there are 8 different Vasus and 8 different Dik means direction. Like northwest, east, south is what we know. But in very, very important in Hindu system is northeast, southeast, northwest, southwest also are very important, and each of them have a preceding deity. So it's called Purva, Agneya, Dakshina, Nairutya, Paschima, Vayuvya, Uttara, Ishanya. These are the different directions. There are 8 different great elephants that all of them came out of Sagara Manthana. And there are different Aishwaryas or Siddhis through Yoga Dharana. Whoever knows Hanuman Chalisa will know this. Ashta Siddhi Nava Nidhi Ke Dhata. So in 9 we are coming to Nidhis. What are the 9 Nidhis? It is 8 Siddhis. You need to work hard to get these Siddhis. Anima, Mahima, Laghima, Prapti. This is Parakaya Pravesha we call. Prakashya, Ishitva, Vashitva, Prakamya. All these are different Siddhis. Again, this is a topic in itself that we will look at. Then there are Ashtangas in Ayurveda. I loved this part, and maybe Sundarji will talk about this one day. I would love to hear Sundarji talk about these things, which is Shalya Chikitse, which is surgery, Shalakya Chikitse, which is about ENT, Kaya Chikitse, which is physiotherapy, which is massage and as such, Bhuvidye, which is whoever is psychologically disturbed, there is a vidya to overcome. Kaumara Bryuta. Oh, this is for pediatrics. Then there is Agadat. I can't even read. See, I don't know these things. I can't even read in English. If it was in Devanagari, I could have read. I am struggling. Then there is Rasayana Tantra, Vajikarana Mantra, etc., etc. So there are so many Vidyas in Ayurveda that are categorized into 8. And then Ashtakshara Mantra is Om Namo Narayanaya. And then are 8 Akshara Vargas, which are Swaras, Kavarga, Chavarga, Tavarga, Tavarga, Pavarga, Antastakshara, Antakshara, which is E. They are all one. 8 limbs. Yama, Niyama, Asana. That I thought I had there. Yeah, I have it here. Thank you, Pratyaksha. You are one step ahead. Next one is Ashtanga Yogas, which is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, all those. And then Sashtanga Namaskara. Whenever we are bowing down to the Lord, we touch all 8 parts in our body. to submit ourselves. Leg, knee, hands, chest, head, respectful sight, praising words, and revering mind is what they say. And there are different types of marriage also. Brahma marriage, Daiva marriage, Arsha marriage, Prajapatya, Gandharva, Asura, Rakshasa, Paishachya. The first four need blessings from the elders. The Gandharva is by mutual love marriage, we call it. Today it's love marriage. Asura is based on money or greed. And the last two, which is Rakshasa and Paisachya, are forced marriages. There is no, nobody is giving the consent. They just pull them. So I know I'm looking at time. I still have 10 minutes. We will quickly finish it. Intention is not to finish. Intention is to just look at, wow, what's out there. Okay. Next, 9 is Vishnu Swarupa, or the Devata for this is Aniruddha. There are 9 grahas, we all know that, which manage the whole universe, which is Surya, Chandra, Kuja, Buddha, Guru, Shukra, Shani, Rahu, Ketu. There are 9 Navadware Pure Dehi, we call it. So there are 9 dwaras in our body. 2 ears, 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth, 1 anus, and upastha, and 1 genital. 9 Prajapatis are there. 9 Vidha Bhaktis. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada, Sevanam. That comes in Bhagavata Purana. So there are 9 different ways in which we can submit to the Lord. The easiest one is just listening about Him. The second is talking about Him, or chanting His names, and then thinking about Him. So it evolves. We will look at this specifically in a different section, especially again for children. There are different Bhagavatas. Parikshita, Shuka, Prahlada, Lakshmi, Prutu, Akrura, Anjaneya, Arjuna, Bali Chakravarti. There are 9 Bhagavatas, and then there are 9 Shaktis, 9 Durgas or Navaratris, and then different Murtis of Vishnu, which is Narayana, Parabrahma, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Narasimha, Varaha, Paranjoti, etc. It can go on and on. As for example, Vishnu Sahasranama, we have thousands of names. They're just, we need to keep in mind. Ashta Siddhi Nava Nidhike Dhata. There are 9 Ratnas: Manikya, Mauktika, Havala, and again, the English translations I have provided are very poor translations. Unfortunately, there is no equivalent in English sometimes. So whatever we have here is the best translation we have available. And there are 9 different rasas, 9 different, in warfare, there are 9 different arrangements. Patti, Senamukha, Gulma, Gana, Vahini, Pratana, Chamu. The reason I mentioned this is last 3 are mentioned in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Whoever can find it and say, message it to me, I will give you a thumbs up. Or maybe one sweet to you. Where is Chamu? Where is Anikini? I don't know. I don't think Akshohini is there, but most people would use Akshohini to look at the large group of a large size of a army is used to, Akshohini is used to describe. But if you can find Chamu and Anikini in the first 10 shlokas and post it on Naha, I give you a thumbs up. I think 10 or 15 slokas, you will get both of them. Okay. Okay. We are almost there. Okay. 9 is a very significant number in the Vedic system. A lot of things are end with 9. Some scholars actually use 9 as a measure to 9 as a scale to measure whether something is adhyatma material or not. For example, 18 Parvas, 18 Akshonis, 18 days of war, 18 Adhyayas of Bhagavad Gita. They are no coincidence. They are very, and then there are 18 Mahapuranas, then 18 Upapuranas, then 18 different types of Vidya that Sundarji covered last week. And then there are 18 Tattvas. And again, I will show this. I will share this slide with all of you. And very interestingly, this is something I found in Bannanjay Govindacharya. He says, Ja is the 8th akshara, Ya is the first akshara. For example, Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Nya, Cha, Cha, Ja. If you see, Ja is 8, Ya is the first akshara. So Ja, Ya is 9. Jaya means Mahabharata. So wherever there is 9, Yatra Yogeshwarah Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharah, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir Dhruvani Tirmatir Mama. So 9 is indication of Krishna. That's what they say. And this is the last slide. As we saw, each one had a Devata. The Devata for 10 is Swayambhuva Manu. Devata for 11 is Brihaspati. 12 is Daksha Prajapati. 13 is Pravahavayu. 14 is Chandra. 15 is Surya. 16 is Yama. 17 is Varuna. 18 Vahni. 19 is Mitra, 20 is Niruti, and 21 is Ganapati. So that's why, especially in South India, when somebody wants to circumambulate the temple, the Ganesha temple, they go around 21 times. Or if they want to do namaskaras, they hold the ear and do push-ups or whatever that is called, sit-ups 21 times. So because 21 is symbol for Ganapati. So I think with that, I end my session. Again, the intention of the session today was just to introduce the idea of numbers and the significance of numbers in the Vedic system. If I see so many children's faces, next time, this is something Pushpaji and Ratanji have been telling, that we have to get the children involved. Maybe we'll create a session with children at the center. Okay. Today, for all the children, was it too much above for you guys? Okay, manageable. You knew at least 70% of it, you already knew, right? All that I tried to do was connect those dots. You already knew, and we just tried to connect the dots. Significance of 108 is significance of 9. 9 is 108 is not different from 9. So same with 1008. 1008 is 9. And I have this bad habit. Wherever I go, when I look for parking, very easy for people to find where I park my car. I park either at slot number 18, slot number 81, slot number 27, slot number 72. I keep going round and round to find a slot that has 9. So I have that OCD. It's okay. So 1108, we can have a separate session on 108 because Vastu Shastra is sitting on 108. Shilpa Shastra is sitting on 108. Even the Shastra of the distance between planetary system is sitting on 108. So 108 is a significant number in the Vedic system. We can have a separate 1 hour session on that itself, maybe. I have to do a lot of homework for that because I have read here and there. Okay. That's it from me today. I was on time today, unlike last time. I am 2 minutes before. Okay. All good? Golden ratio and pi, to be honest, I don't know. We will do an investigation on that also. Good question, Uniji. We'll find the relationship of between those two. And Sundarji unmuted himself. That means he knows the answer.
Yes. So value of pi is already calculated by one of Krishna's song. Basically, it's called Katapadayadi Sankhya. And pre-Aryabhatian times, it is there. And golden ratio also figures in Pingala Chandas. In the Vedas. Pingala Chandas is Vedanga. It is already there.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you everyone for your patience. All the children, thank you for being there. I am surprised. So many nice faces to see today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful session. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
It
you.
was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you.
Thank you, Girish uncle.
Good. Thank you, my dear. Take care, everyone.